Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. Please give me a sound check if you can hear me perfectly. Guys, if you can hear me and if you guys can see my screen, please do give me a sound check. Good, okay, thank you. Got it. Some of the people coming back. All right, great. Thank you so much for joining us for our weekly master class in which we cover several different topics ranging from stock market to cryptos and everything in between. Just a bit of housekeeping before we do anything else. Anything which will be discussed in this particular video cannot be perceived as an advice. If you are seeking, sorry, give me 1 second. I think I've just pulled out the wrong slide. Okay, give me 1 sec there. Right, okay, I just had the, just by mistake, pulled out the wrong one. Going because this wasn't the stock. This is obviously Bitcoin masterclass, so that's what we will be really discussing in this particular session. So a very brief history about myself. I come with a wealth of 15 years of trading experience. During this time period, I have worked as a hedge fund trader for Bank of New York Mellon, as an equity trader for Bank of America, and currently providing services as a chief market analyst to AvaTrade. Now, in today's analysis, of course, we'll be talking about where Bitcoin is really going to heading from here onwards, if there's any bullish or bearish sentiment, where are those opportunities within that, and of course, I will try to explain a little bit more about other coins as well if we do get the chance to do it. Now, just to get a little bit of a feel of everything, please tell me that how many of you are actually trading Bitcoin in this particular room. If you are currently actively trading Bitcoin, please say yes or no. Wow. A lot of people are actually trading Bitcoin actively, and then that means that you guys are really trying to bank on the current pullback that we are really seeing. And of course, Ethereum. Yes, Ethereum is a great project. I really love Ethereum, and I also like Cardano as well now. I wasn't too much of a fan of it, but now I've started to like, and then I do think that it is a good project as well. Just very briefly again, contact details, Twitter is right over here, and then YouTube channels are over here as well. On a daily basis, we put 2 different videos about daily fundamental and technical analysis as well. So I'll highly recommend you to check that out. Now, more importantly, so let's bring out the conversation from a very ground level. And we will build the foundation from there, and from there onwards we will really like to have more conversation. Satu is asking, I would love to hear your take on altcoins. Yes, altcoins. Within altcoins, I like NFTs, I like Theta, I also like Chili, I also like Engine. I think they perform really well. Chili is obviously pulling back quite a lot these days. And we also look at, I personally also look at 1,000 coins out of a market cap, and really try to filter them down to 12 to 15 maximum, and then we really try to see what is the performance of those coins on a weekly basis. If you wanted to learn anything in relation to more of that, you can always ping me on my Twitter, which is Naeem Aslam 23. So feel free to ask me any questions on that. Now, in terms of a Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is obviously a digital currency, a form of payment, which is and the acceptance of that particular currency is widely increasing because more and more platforms, more and more funds, more and more payment systems are really integrating Bitcoin, which means that the strength of Bitcoin as a form of a payment, as a unit of measure, is really increasing. Right, so that is very positive in terms of that. Is it a safe haven? Yes, there is certainly a big, let's say, evidence there that traders and big family offices have started to diverse their investment into they started to hedge their investment. Out of interest, put a number over here. What do you think, how much institutional money, meaning the investment banks and all of that, and family offices, how much allocation are they doing towards Bitcoin? Like, you know, like usually family offices would have large quantities of gold in their portfolios as a hedge against inflation, as a hedge against any risk. Now they have also started to add Bitcoin in their portfolios as another form of hedge, just like how Tesla CEO Elon Musk has done that. So is saying 10 to 20%. Okay, that is a very ambitious number, and then that is certainly where we want Bitcoin to be sitting in the treasury systems. And any other guests that you may have in the meantime, feel free to post them over here as well. 10%, someone is saying again over here. Someone is Grant is saying 5%. We are certainly getting very, very close to our estimates. Amutha is saying 5% as well. It's just slightly below 5%, but certainly again 5% is the number which is very, very likely to be in there in the coming days. And then we want to see Bitcoin to be going all the way to 10% as part of the portfolios, right? But right now, what we are really seeing is Bitcoin sitting between 1 to 2% in their portfolios. That is where we are seeing. And of course, as I said, with more corporates, US corporates especially, including Bitcoin in their portfolio, further strengthen the case for Bitcoin to become as a global form of a payment, as a unit of account, and something which is also classified as a store of value, which gold is classified as. So give me the percentage again. Well, what did I say? That what is the percentage among institutional investors and family offices? Is it what's the percentage that they are? Great. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys are paying attention to. So Killian just said 1 to 2%. That is exactly what I said. Satu said just below 5%. That is correct. And said around 2%. So you guys are paying attention to what I'm saying. That is beautiful. Okay, so what is moving Bitcoin price? That is the second big question on our agenda today. Well, what do you think is moving Bitcoin prices? Why don't you guys give me some of the answers? What do you think is really driving the rally or the upward move or the downward move? Because one particular guess or a hint I can say is the yes, great supply. Carl, that is a very beautiful answer because we know that the supply is very limited, and that goes to the next question which we will ask. Amutha said high returns. Yes, traders wanted to make big money in a short period of time, and that is also pushing the prices higher. Anwar has said inflation fear. That is absolutely correct as well, that yes, there are inflation fear which is also driving Bitcoin prices as well. And more importantly, if you can add to the same equation, is the confidence that we are seeing among American corporates, the integration of Bitcoin with the major payment providers such as PayPal, and Bitcoin sitting on, you know, one of the most important companies of the S&P 500 index, and I mean Tesla. You know, and of course, companies like Morgan Stanley, which is using MicroStrategy as a route for their clients to get into Bitcoin. You know, all of that is really strengthening the case for Bitcoin price, and that is very much moving Bitcoin prices. And scarcity of supply is obviously a big issue over here. Is the supply really limited? What do you guys think? What is the total Bitcoin supply that you think is out there? That what is the number? What's the total number of Bitcoin supply? 21 million, Samir said. And Amutha, I suppose that you missed 2. You just wrote 1. And said 21. Not much left to mine. Carl is saying absolutely there is not much quantity left. and that is the major thing that we really got to keep an eye on. So if you are really buying Bitcoin, you should be really looking at from a long-term perspective, and any short-term pullbacks could be considered as an opportunity to bag some more bargains. That's what we should be really looking at. Now, how big is the demand? Apparently, the speculators and the word on the street is that there is already quite a lot of FOMO on the market, which believes that Bitcoin supply is quickly drying up, and now institutions are very much going in. For the last few weeks, when we have seen Bitcoin prices before this weekend's new record high, when the prices were pulling down, we saw companies like MicroStrategy, which is or the Morgan Stanley, one of the giants of a Wall Street is using. They bought a lot of Bitcoin, and of course, Cathie Wood's ARK Investment Innovation Fund also bought Bitcoin as well on recent retracement, and I'm sure that all of them are seeing fruit of the labor, but as Bitcoin prices have substantially moved higher from the recent lows of 47,000. In fact, yesterday the price was very much challenging that 57,000 price level as well. What about India banning Bitcoin and if other countries to follow? Look, this has been the threat from day one. Back in 2017, this has been the threat. People have been talking about it, but India hasn't done anything yet, and still they're saying that they don't know which way it is really gonna go. But I don't know the answer of it. That is the honest answer, and no one knows if India is going to ban. But can certain other countries can follow that? Certainly they can. But one important thing about Bitcoin is that salaries are getting paid in Bitcoin in America. So that is certainly something very, very positive, which shows that that integration is going to a different level. Now, what defining levels? So this is where we are going to pull out our MT4 platform, and we're going to discuss Bitcoin in much more greater detail by looking at the price level and then see what exactly is going on. The chart which is right in front of you, obviously it's not Bitcoin, this is NASDAQ. I was looking at it earlier because treasury yields were rising, and then NASDAQ prices started to move. And then today we also have the FOMC meeting day. This is the most important day for traders and investors, because this is really going to move everything on the market, whether we're talking about stock market, whether we're talking about Bitcoin, whether we're talking about Forex or anything in relation to that. Now, the first thing that we got to look at is the daily time frame, and then we got to have our conversation based on that. Now, if you are wondering what are these two green lines, this is the support area. We have mentioned in our previous technical analysis video, we've mentioned that this is where the prices are likely to bounce, and we are seeing that bounce coming from this particular area now. So what we've got to look at from this particular perspective really is that how high the price can really go, because obviously the price has bounced from here. But before we do that, what I really want you guys to understand is the concept of negative divergence or positive divergence. So bear with me, and now I'm going to explain that in more detail. So let me bring out the pen, and then we can discuss that. So right over here we have a high, and right over here we have another high, as you can clearly see between these 2 points, right? The price has made another high. Over here, as you can see, this is your RSI, which is known as the Relative Strength Index. It has 2 different levels. Number one is 30, number one is 70, the number 2 is 70. 30, what am I doing? So when the RSI reaches near 70, it usually means that now you can sell. And when RSI reaches near 30, it usually means that now you can buy. So for instance, when the RSI was right over here near 30 and price was over here, it was explaining to us in a very clear manner that yes, prices are highly likely to boom. We saw this massive boom into the prices. Then around this area over here, the price started to move to this in the sideways direction. But if we look at the Bitcoin price, it didn't. It continued to move to the upside, but eventually we saw a sell-off coming, which was very much indicated by the RSI right over here, and prices moved to the downside. And then obviously this RSI was still very, very close to this 70 level. So we were nowhere close enough to 30. But once again, we saw this massive momentum coming back. And when the price was moving to the upside, like over here, we have a high over here, we have another high over here, and the RSI also moved to the upside. So basically in this area, now pay attention to what I'm about to say. In this area, the price made a high and the price made another high. The RSI made a high and RSI also made another high. So just like over here, we have a price making high and then making another high. Over here, the price made a high and it made another high. The RSI was showing at this particular point that everything is moving very much in tandem. So we had nothing to really worry about at that point. But now, with the situation that I'm really looking at is that the RSI made high and the RSI made a lower high. So this doesn't correlate with this one. So basically the price is moving higher, but the RSI is telling us that, look, the momentum is very much slowing. So right at this particular point, let me bring out my cursor back on to show you guys once again. So right at this particular point, right over here, when the price was making new highs, just right over here, as you can see, the RSI was clearly making lower low. So we know from this particular point right over here that the price is likely to move to the downside, and that is what really happened in terms of prices. So what really happened was, let me bring out the pen again, that the price moved from here to here, and then that is what is very much narrated in the RSI over here, which moved to the downside. So what I'm really telling you over here is that we had an early indication of prices moving to the downside, because when the price made over a high over here, the RSI was very much telling us, look, folks, there is a warning sign, price is likely to fall to the downside, and which it did, and it fell. But obviously, this is the area of support which we defined, and then I will tell you why we defined in a bit. But this was the area which we defined, and the price did initially moved to the upside, and now it seems like that the price is really going to violate those levels as well. So something else we also wanted to pay attention to on the daily time frame is these three moving averages. If you are wondering what are they and then why have I not mentioned them yet, so this is your 50-day simple moving average right over here. This one over here is your 100-day simple moving average. Again, these are just your simple day moving averages, no fancy weighted moving average or exponential moving average, nothing at all. They are just your normal moving averages. Now, clearly the price is trading above all of them. And as long as the price stays above this particular 50-day simple moving average over here, we really have nothing to worry about. But if the price comes over here and it touches this one and then continues to break to the downside, then obviously the next area of support is going to be right over here between 43,000 price level over here. But if price cannot stop itself over here, then we are really moving towards this particular area of 37,600, which is where the 100-day simple moving average is really trading at. And that is the area where we need to really focus on. But let's have and I don't think that the price is really going to retrace into this area right over here, but never say never, because the last time the price tested the 50-day simple moving average was a long time ago, which was back in January 2021. I mean, like last month, literally, not that long ago. 2 months ago, sorry, and now we are due for another touch to 50-day simple moving average. So that's why I'm saying never say never, this can happen. But remember the big stimulus story, because Americans are getting their stimulus checks now, and those checks, that $1,400 that they are getting in America, all of this is very likely to be moving towards Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin price will drop, it is in interest of whales to push the prices to the downside, because if the price comes much lower, what is likely to happen is that more of this money right over here, more of this money is very much likely to flow into Bitcoin. But obviously, if Bitcoin continues to stay at very record high levels, then obviously it becomes quite difficult for Americans to invest, or at least they can still invest, but over here they get a bargain over here. So I believe that there is a possibility for Bitcoin price to come and revisit this area, because obviously it has been a long time that we have not seen the prices coming into this area, as I have mentioned before. So that is your concept of negative divergence, and of course your trend lines and your moving averages. Now, what in the short term can we see? In the short term, what we really need to focus on now is, first of all, is readjust our trend lines, because these trend lines are no longer valid. So what is the valid level for them? The valid level for them is going to be coming right over here. So this is the point that we are really focusing on. And over here, also the same level of support we'll be focusing on would be right over here. So if you can see, what I'm really doing is that I'm bringing my support by looking at this consolidation area. Let me bring out the pen again. I'm focused on this area of consolidation where we have seen plenty of support and the price really exploding to the upside. This is the area of support I am very much focused on, and we can already see from the price action very clearly that there is a clear evidence that the price is actually bouncing off from its current price level, as you can see over here. So if I maximize this one, you can see, and if the price even comes in slightly bit more to the downside, what we're going to see at the same time is double bottom. So let's say if the price comes over here, well, we will have a double bottom, the first being over here, the second being over here, and the double bottoms are very much are reversal patterns, just to let you know, and then they really push the price to the upside. So all of that is something that we're really kind of keeping in mind, and then we got to look at. So what is the challenge for the price? The first challenge is the 50-day simple moving average. Now, as long as the price stays below this moving average and it fails to break above this, then really we are in business for prices to really continue their journey to the downside. And by that, what I really mean is that the price can really go towards this particular average, this moving average at 46,000. Because if it fails to move back above the 50-day simple moving average, we are likely to see more of sell-off. Of course, before that will happen, we do have two different support zones. This is your support zone number 1, and this is your support zone number 2. So we are likely to see support coming into near the area of 51,000, near the area of 53,000. This support, as we speak, it is already in play, this support zone. This support zone hasn't been in play, but it can certainly come into play very soon. Now, another important sign that we can also see can be taken from even further below this particular time frame, and by that I mean the 30-minute time frame. So if the first bull signal is really going to be coming from here, or the bear signal is also going to be coming from here as well. So what we really wanted to see again is the same concept. We want the price to move above this 50-day simple moving average, which is trading right over here. If the price can break above this one, then if the price can break above this one, then we know that the price is also likely to cross above this particular 50-day simple moving average on the 4-hour time frame right over here. So the signal for this one is going to come from a 30-minute time frame, and this one and the bearish signal is really going to come from the 4-hour time frame, whether it is going to continue to move to the downside or not. Because if it stays below this one, then we know that it is really going to continue its journey to the downside. So again, so if the price needs to break above the 50-day simple moving average in order for it to continue to the upside, if it stays below the 50-day simple moving average on the 4-hour time frame, then the chances really are that over here we will see the price falling towards this particular price angle. Now, on the bullish side, how are we going to know if the price is really going to move to the upside? The first signal is likely to emerge right from here, from this particular time frame, and that is your 30-minute time frame, and the moment the price breaks above the 50-day simple moving average. So MM is asking, is there a double bottom forming on the 4-hour time frame? So I think we've already talked about that, but let's go about it and then let's rediscuss it again. So on the 4-hour time frame, we've already talked about that double bottom aspect, which I've explained that if the price, if it moves in again slightly on this time frame, then it comes over here, we have one bottom and we have the other bottom on the other side. So it's already that prices can move. That is the most important aspect of our conversation in relation to that one. Unfortunately, I really don't have much time left to talk about any other altcoins, but just to go back to the altcoin agenda. And to talk about it, I really like some other coins that I really like is, of course, Chainlink is good. I like Polkadot as well. I'm keeping an eye on it. Cardano is definitely a good project that is likely to move to the upside, and the current retracement could be an opportunity. Do you see same patterns in other Bitcoins? There's only one Bitcoin. I'm not sure what you mean by other. You must mean like other coins. Holding on Bitcoin is a good strategy, yes, as long as the position can allow you to do that, meaning you don't get a margin call and your position is not too sensitive to the risk. Okay, other cryptos like Ethereum, really, really great. I think it will be very, very great. It is still a great opportunity because I think Ethereum is going to go towards $5,000, and that can happen really this year. Yeah, I would not sell Ethereum really. It's just as a personal choice. Okay, so just to finish off, one important thing that I wanted to bring your attention to is AvaProtect is a revolutionary. We have a one-year revolutionary product which is called AvaProtect. It's a risk management tool available on AvaTrade Web Trader and AvaTrade Go app. With AvaProtect, you can purchase protection against loss of a defined period after opening a position. If the protection ends, so you have an open position that is losing, AvaTrade will reimburse the loss. The only cost is AvaProtect itself. Obviously, it is not available on every single instrument, but it is there for most of them. So, folks, again, the recording of this one will be available on our YouTube channel, so feel free to go and have a look over there. And okay, so just a final few questions to look over here. Will BTC go back to 10K? Don't know. Hopefully not, because that would be a big retracement. Hopefully not. I think 35,000 is really the best retracement that we're really going to see, or maybe 30,000. Maximum 25,000 really. So 25,000 and 30,000 can become a range. or 30,000 to 35,000 can become a range, or overall between 25 to 35,000 can become a range. 10,000 is, I hope not. I really hope not. All right, so this is where we come to the end of our webinar. Thank you so much for joining us as always, and I hope this was helpful. I hope that you've understood the price action. I hope that you have a better knowledge of a Bitcoin now in terms of its usage, in terms of all the news that is really breaking over there. I wish you all the success, all the love, and hopefully Bitcoin prices will continue to march towards the 100,000 price level, which is my target when it comes to Bitcoin prices. All right, thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. Same place, same time.